Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it right here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We got a great show for you today, and if you want to call in, 570-530-8316. Let's get started. There wasn't a whole lot of action this week, B, but the one that stood out was the Pro Box TV card, Joet Gonzalez versus Arnold Kigai. Joet Gonzalez wins a split decision over Kigai by the scores of 96-93, 97-92 for Gonzalez, and 95-94 for Kigai. Joet Gonzalez, you'll remember, is the one that boxed like Shakur Stevenson and lost a decision to him, but he's a good boxer. He's a good fighter.
He's very solid, yeah.
Very solid prospect for sure. On the undercard, there was Luis Torres versus Nicholas the Axeman Walters.
Oh my God.
Okay. Yeah, you had the same reaction I did then.
Yeah.
Because, so Torres stops Walters after Walters refused to come out for the fourth round. He just stayed on his stool. I got to be honest, I was shocked that Nicholas Walters was still fighting.
Yeah.
I think he retired after that Lomachenko fight. Took about, I don't know how many years off, and then put a streak together, and then this was culminated in this fight right here. But it wasn't, he's 39 years old. You know, when you take off that much time in your 30s and then try to come back, you're never at the level that you once were, you know. And he was a contender. He was a good contender, you know, but he was never a killer. You know what I mean? He was never that guy in that division.
He had his time. He did have that huge win over Nonito Donaire.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know, it's definitely a solid champion in his own right for a short period of time. But his time's passed.
I would say so. Yeah. Virtuoso says Walters went away for about 7 years. Yeah, I think that's right. I think it was about 7 years, 6-7 years, somewhere in there. But to come back at 39, you know, it's, you know, I think he came back around 37 or something like that. And then, so.
Yeah, he left in 2016. He came back in 2023. And he fought twice in 2023, once in 2024, and this was his first fight in 2025. And as our friend Robbie likes to say, he just may need to find something else to do.
Something else to do, yeah. He still got a good record. Was his record like 21-2 or something like that, or 28-2 or something?
29-2.
29-2. That's nothing to sneeze at, man. That's a good career right there.
Yeah, but the thing is this.
His only loss was to Lomachenko, aside from last night. You know what I mean?
But then again, you know, since that Lomachenko fight, he really hasn't stepped up. And this was kind of like
he retired. And then the guys he was fighting, they're going to be comeback fights.
Of course, yes.
And this is when he finally, I guess, stepped up a little bit, you know, and
Yes.
So. Clarissa says, I hope one of my kids get into boxing so they can make at least minimum wage with Dana White. There you go.
Please with this.
Stop it. What's the matter?
Tired of hearing this crap.
Dana White, baby, he's in the boxing game now, B.
You gotta start showing this guy some respect, Dana. Man.
Put some respect on his name. You're talking about Uncle Dana here, son. What are you doing? All right. And that was it for the fights. B, was there any I didn't see any other action this weekend. Nothing of
There's one fight that I know you didn't watch.
Well, try me. I might have. Who was it?
It was Tasha Jonas.
Nope.
And she lost. She lost her title. It was it was a unification.
Tasha Jonas? Yeah. She's still around?
Yeah.
What's she doing out of the kitchen?
Please.
But
she lost.
Who cares? Who cares?
She lost Lauren Price in a unification bout.
Who?
Lauren Price.
I don't even know who that is. I don't know who that is either.
Like a passing of the torch.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
You didn't watch it, but I just want to throw it out there just in case. You made
all right. So, yeah, right. So the Joseph. All right. So the Joet Gonzalez fight and that Nicholas Walters fight over. They were on Pro Box TV. I was thinking about this. So, like, isn't it like Pro Box TV, like the USA used to be with the fights?
Yeah.
Now, they're not like the most exciting fights, but they're fights. You know what I mean? They're good prospects. They're good people. It's just not like mega fights. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then they might have a big name, but I like it. I like it. I don't mind it. Maestro gave you a beating this afternoon. Is that what I'm reading here?
No, that's this afternoon. We didn't do it. We didn't do. I was talking about Saturday. You mean?
I don't know. Somebody. I thought he said that Beeb had. Yeah, Beeb's still hurting from the beating Maestro put on him yesterday. Omar Rodriguez.
I mean,
wow.
That was probably like a first round knockout on my part, man. That was probably one of the easiest victories I've ever had in my life.
Virtuoso said, he said, no, Joe. Eric is waiting desperately for Amain Khalif's pro debut. There you go.
Don't get started on this, please.
How dare you? She can have kids. She can have kids. She can fight. She can fight in the women's division.
Not with those inverted testicles she has.
Stop it.
Please.
You haven't seen those. What's the matter with you?
I hope not. I don't want to look at those.
You saw them up close. What's the matter with you? Get it together over there.
Santeo Media, he knows. B by KO in the first round. He saw the performance. We did 3 videos.
What were you guys going on about? What were you guys going on about?
He's one of the anti Dana White people, right?
How?
Well,
how can you possibly be anti Dana White? Come on, Maestro.
We'll wait till we get into the topic because I'll let you run down the agenda here.
Hey, don't think I don't appreciate that, B. I do.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you. I'm not like Robbie cutting you
off.
He
reads the notes.
I read the notes. I follow the structure of this, and it is actually part of the deal when I signed this contract that I have to follow these show notes.
It's very true. It's very true.
I can't speak out of school in regards to these show notes.
That's it.
Just so you know.
It's part of the contract. I was pointing the wrong way too. There you go.
It's okay.
All right.
I know what you're doing.
All right. That was it for the weekend's action, except for Tasha Jonas or Natasha Jones or whoever she is.
Lauren Price.
Cares. Who cares?
Sorry. I know you don't care.
You know it gets no play here.
Should you bring it up? It wasn't even in the show notes.
So you went off the script. You went off script. You had to go into business for yourself, huh?
Your misogyny knows no bounds.
My misogyny. Me and Andrew Tate, baby. That's how it is. Right?
That's right.
All right. March 12th. What is this, like Tuesday or Wednesday, right? From Sydney, Australia. I imagine this will be on ESPN or ESPN Plus. If not, you can catch it on YouTube or something like that. Huh?
On Wednesday.
Yeah, so it's like on isn't this like a 5 o'clock? This is the Australian one.
They do
those
have
like
cards.
weird times.
Yeah, they do those cards in the middle of the week, and they're usually early in the morning for us. And if it's a big fight, sometimes what they'll do is they'll adjust it for us if they want to do it in prime time for us.
Yeah, they're not doing this fight in prime.
But not for this particular fight. They're not going to do that.
No way. Keith Thurman. You know, we were talking about the Axeman. We were talking about Nicholas Walters still fighting. I'm shocked that Keith Thurman is still fighting.
Yeah, Keith Thurman needs to go find something else to do.
I don't know if he's down on his luck, he needs money or what, but yeah, he's fighting again, and he's fighting Brock Jarvis. Brock Jarvis?
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with him.
I'm not familiar with him either. And I want to remind you and remind all the people out there, we do this every day.
Yes.
Every single day. We're looking up stuff for you guys. That's number one. But number two, as much as we're involved in boxing, I've never heard of Brock Jarvis.
No.
Never. Don't know of any of his fights. Didn't want to go look him up, but I don't know him. I don't know who he is. He might be great. He may be good. Listen, the fact that they're going to Australia to have this fight should tell you that, listen, Keith Thurman's stock is really down.
Yes.
Because if he was the guy he was, he'd be fighting here, not in Australia. So, yeah. Who do you like in that fight, incidentally?
I want to say Keith Thurman, but at this point in his career, I'm not even sure. Plus, all these upsets that we've been seeing lately, who knows?
I'll tell you what. I'm going to pull for Brock Jarvis in this.
Well,
don't know anything about him.
I'll be pulling for him too.
Wouldn't bet on him, but I don't know too much.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about him to bet on him. But yeah, I would like to see Brock Jarvis win this fight.
Wouldn't mind seeing him win either.
I wouldn't mind it at all.
Keith Thurman.
On the undercard here, Michael Zarafa versus Basir Ai for 10 rounds middleweights, and that's about it on that card for names we recognize. I imagine there'll be like a lot of Australia. There's a lot of 5-rounders on. There's like 3 5-rounders, 2 6-rounders. So, one of those type of cards. March 13th. All right, so Thursday, ESPN Plus. Kenshiro Taraji versus Sego Yuri Akui. 12 rounds for Tajiri's WBC flyweight title and Akui's WBA flyweight title. This is on ESPN Plus. And it looks like there's going to be like 3 flyweight title fights on there. So there you go. That's on ESPN Plus. It'll probably be an early morning 7 a.m. fight, but you'll be able to catch it later on ESPN Plus. On Friday, March 14th in Montreal, Eric Bazinian versus Stephen Butler, 10-round super middleweights. And I don't have a TV on that, but who usually plays though? That's not DAZN, is it? That's not. We could probably just catch it on YouTube. That would probably be the best one. That's probably your best bet is to catch it on YouTube. Yeah. March 14th in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, on DAZN. Joseph Adorno versus Wesley Rivers, 8 rounds lightweights. Co-main Bryce Mills versus Alex Martin, 8 rounds junior welterweights. $30 a month for DAZN, huh? All right. $30.
For some.
Huh?
For some.
You're still grandfathered in?
No, I don't.
You got rid of it. Yeah, you got rid of it.
I got rid of it.
I got rid of it too.
No.
March 15th, Orlando, Florida, on DAZN. Austin Williams versus Patrice Volney, 12 rounds middleweights. Edgar Berlanga versus Jonathan Gonzalez Ortiz, 10 rounds super middleweights. Jermaine Ortiz versus Yomar Alamo, 10 rounds junior welterweights. Who's that, De La Hoya?
I say that name at one
Amari
time.
Jones. This is no. This is a Hearn card, I think.
That's Eddie Hearn. I think Eddie Hearn signed him.
Omari Jones debuts against Alessio Mastranuzio, 4 rounds junior middleweights. That's the one to watch.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't catch Omari Jones in the amateurs, he's solid. He's a very good fighter, man.
You were very high on him too. And a lot of people were, not just you, but you were really high on him.
I'm interested to see, he's a junior middleweight, if he drops in weight or he goes up. You know what I mean? Junior middleweight's up there, or if he goes up to middleweight and tries to make a splash there. That's my guess, is that what he'll do. But yeah, he's a solid prospect already.
Yeah.
And you can always, it's always, I like to look at the first 5 fights they have, because the first, they're going to feed him somebody. But all the experience these guys have, if they try to rush them too fast and all that other stuff, it's a fine line.
Yeah.
Of keeping them guys interested because of their experience and not looking for 1-round blowouts and stuff, and keeping the resistance on. Yeah. It's not an easy job. I'll tell you that. Not an easy job at all. March 15th from Liverpool, England. Once again, we don't have TV on this one, but I'm sure somebody will cast this. Nick Ball versus TJ Doheny, 12 rounds for Ball's WBA featherweight title. Charlie Edwards versus Andrew Kane in the co-main for the vacant British bantamweight title, 12 rounds. So there you go. And then a week after that, of course, March 22nd, that's the Sebastian Fundora Cordell Booker for Fundora's WBC and WBO junior lightweight titles. So there you go. Terrell Gachet's on that undercard as well. Not bad. Not star-studded action coming in, but fights nonetheless all week next week. Starting Tuesday, Wednesday? Yeah. So, great stuff, man. Great stuff. A lot of good stuff. All right. So not much action in the fights. So let's go to the news. All right. Let's start this off here. Give me 2 seconds here. Lamont Roach, right? Lamont Roach took his battle to the New York State Athletic Commission. Lamont Roach filed a complaint with the NYSAC over the no knockdown that cost him the Tank Davis fight. The New York Athletic Commission stated they couldn't look at the review of the fight that night while they were there. something about technical issues. They couldn't get the replay or whatever, so they reviewed it after the fact. In the meantime, the WBA president said that they agreed it was a knockdown and should have been called such. All right? That's really important here because, of course, Roach thinks that. Now the WBA, the sanctioning body, thinks that as well.
The commission also admitted it as well, too, that they ruled it a knockdown.
Yeah, the commission came out and they stated it was a knockdown and should have been counted. However, the draw will still stand. Basically, they're not going to do anything about it. This is why, honestly, we need competent people in these roles, man. From the referee shouldn't have been in there anyway, to the commission. There didn't even need to be a replay. Someone from the commission was sitting in the audience, just like at every single fight, okay? Why they didn't talk to the ref after this happened so they could correct the situation is beyond me. That was a big miss.
Did you even need replay for this?
You didn't even need it. You didn't even need it because the referee should have been able to describe to you what happened, right? And not to mention, there's replay monitors everywhere.
Yeah.
All right, you got a TV crew here. And I understand that's not like the case in every fight, but in this fight, you did.
Mm-hmm.
There's a commission guy right there. If you couldn't get the review, why you didn't go talk to that referee and do something during the fight, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So it's shady. I mean, that's just shady. It just is.
Too many things went wrong that night, and all the things that went wrong conveniently benefited the A-side fighter. So, and I want to point to a fight, right? Back in 1991, Jeff Fennick versus Azuma Nelson, when everyone thought Jeff Fennick won that fight. And then 31 years later in 2022, the WBC actually awarded him their super featherweight title. And it was 31 years too late. So it's not unprecedented that a sanctioning body will award the title to a fighter in a situation like this. It happened 31 years too late, but they did actually give him the title because they do believe. I guess they went back and rescored the fight. But again, I would love for the WBA to either strip Gervonta Davis of that title because they admitted that there was a knockdown, or make Roach the champion. Now, they didn't overturn the decision in that Jeff Fennick Azuma Nelson fight, obviously, because that's up to the commission to do that, right? But I would just love to see boxing do the right thing. And I'm hearing people say, "Oh, well, Ellie Ballback was criticizing."
Oh,
that guy's the worst. He's horrible. He's horrible.
What are you talking about? Ellie Seckback?
No, Ballback.
How dare you?
Ellie Ballback.
How dare you? Friend of the show, Ellie Seckback?
Yeah, he's
I know him personally, by the way, and he had the nicest things to say about you. So I don't know where you're getting your judgment from. I'm just saying that, maybe, you play ball a little.
I don't want people like that to say nice things about me. That makes me
That's messed up. That's
have
just
to think twice about
horrible human being.
Things. So Ellie Ballback sitting there criticizing Lamont Roach because his team had their had lawyers involved, and he wasn't suing the Nevada State Athletic Commission, but he was basically filed a motion to have the decision overturned. And Ballback is like, "Oh, I don't like when lawyers get fighters lawyer up." And it's like, bro, he was wronged in that fight. You have to take legal action. And I would sue the Nevada State Athletic Commission. They're not above reproach here. They've paid out settlements before in the past, as have sanctioning bodies in the past too. So this guy, the head of the New York State Athletic Commission, took money out of Lamont Roach's pocket because if he wins this fight and he's the new champion, right? His market value definitely goes up here. So these decisions take food off the table of these fighters, take money out of their pockets. And if I was Lamont Roach, I don't care what these cardboard gangsters online. "Oh, it's not good when fighters lawyer." Bro, everyone saw Lamont Roach win that fight. Everyone saw that he knocked down Gervonta Davis. It wasn't like Devin Haney suing because he got a beat and he wants the decision overturned. That was different. In this case, they're taking money out of your pocket, food off your table, right? You have every right to sue these people. And I would definitely pursue a legal case against the Nevada State Athletic Commission because they admitted it was a knockdown. They admitted,
New York.
Excuse me, what did I say, Nevada?
Yeah.
I apologize, New York.
No, you're good.
So, yeah, they admitted it, right? And then they admitted they screwed up with the replay. So they need to be held accountable. Whether if they're not going to overturn the decision, then they need to pay this guy.
Why would you not hold them? Why are they not held accountable? You know what I'm saying? They're the commission. You admitted you made a mistake. You admitted you screwed this fight up. And you admitted your guy, okay, your referee, your incompetent referee screwed it up, right? And, listen, I know it was a mistake, but it was a mistake. I get that.
And you admitted you made the mistake.
You admitted you made a mistake. You have to make the mistake right now. Because what you did was you cost that guy the title.
And you know what they said? You know what they said? Oh, well, if it was scored a knockdown, then the fighters would have fought differently for the last three. Bro, the momentum was already. It would have given Roach even more confidence, and it would have probably rattled Tank even more. And the momentum was changing. He was arguing with the trainers in his corner. He was unraveling in the second half of that fight, particularly in the last 3 rounds. So that statement that they made was utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, and Gavin said 0 ruling on Ref Willis. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about him. He's been on a milk carton ever since this whole thing happened. And you know what? I don't blame him.
Well, I'm just going to make a statement right here.
Go back to the comedy circuits. I don't know what to tell him to do. You need to do something else, son, because he ain't cutting it as a ref.
Yeah, I'm going to make a statement right here. I'm putting this on the record from Lamont Roach. If you need, any legal services, Beeb Industries will give our legal service to you free of charge. We'll let you use our legal team if you want to pursue this. If you want to sue the New York State Athletic Commission, the legal team over here at Beeb Industries will defend you and proceed with this case pro bono, free of charge.
From Boston.
I'm just putting it out there. That's how strongly we feel about this.
What is wrong with you? I mean, really, what is wrong with you?
Show good faith. You have to appreciate it, no?
Get it together. Get it together.
Show good faith.
Virtuoso, thank you so much, my friend. He says, as Fennec got his title, can the IOC finally give Roy Jones his 88 Olympic gold medals? I mean, for F's sake. No. He didn't win it. He didn't win it. Like it or not, he did not win it.
That was a bad decision. It
was a horrible decision. Horrible decision. Everybody, he got the best boxer. What is that? One of that one Olympic award that you get for being the best boxer. He won that.
What is it called? The Val Barker Award or something like that? Yeah.
Something like the Val Barker. Is it Val Barker Award? I think you might be right. And so he got it for the best boxer in the competition. Typically doesn't go to a losing candidate, He should have got the decision. He didn't get the decision.
Yeah.
To go back now, it wouldn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It wouldn't mean anything because you took that moment has been taken away from him forever.
And
so for them to give him a gold medal now doesn't mean anything.
Well, the thing is this. I mean, as much as I hate to admit it, I thought he won the fight, but scoring is subjective. This isn't subjective here. They admitted it was a knockdown. They admitted that they made a mistake.
Right.
This is entirely different.
And you know what? It doesn't, again, it doesn't matter if they would have fought different. It doesn't matter. You made the mistake that cost him the fight.
Yeah.
Because had those referees counted that knockdown, that's a unanimous decision. He wins that fight.
Even
or is it a majority decision he wins?
Even if they decided that, because Tank won the round on 2 judges' scorecards. So even if they decided Tank still won the round.
Wait a minute. He won that round?
On two of the scorecards.
Oh, that's horrible. That is horrible.
Steve Weisfeld scored at 10-9 for Roach. So Steve Weisfeld would have made it 10-8. And even if the other judges didn't want to go 10-8 on that round, right?
Yeah.
Even if they decided to go 10-9 and just say that Tank won the round and we'll take a point off for the knockdown, right? If they go 10-9, then it becomes a draw on one of the cards and it becomes a win on the other card for Roach. So he would have won by majority decision.
That's horrible. That is
See what I'm saying?
Absolutely horrible that they gave Tank that round. that you even gave him that round. Two
Yeah,
judges gave him that round. Like, he wasn't winning that round.
I don't think he won that. And I think
that round wasn't even close. I'll go you one better. The round wasn't close.
I think either one or two judges gave Tank the 12th too, and I don't think he won the 12th either. I thought Roach swept the last 4 or 5 rounds.
Yeah, it was awful scoring.
Yeah, it's bad scoring.
You know, and not to mention why they didn't put it in Baltimore again instead of Brooklyn. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a disgrace. The whole there's just too many
let's
mistakes.
Put a bunch of Maryland and DC fighters on that card, and let's put it right in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
great, sounds perfect. Brilliant idea. Brilliant.
Yeah, it was a horrible night, man.
All right, let me bring Robert in here.
Oh Jesus.
Robert, you're live.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Robert, what's going on?
Robert? How you been, man?
Not much. First of all, Joe, I agree with you on the Zuma Nelson Jeff Fenech fight. I watched that fight and I scored her for Fenech.
That's good, Rob.
So, but anyway, this whole New York thing is all screwed up. I listened to Randy Gordon on Monday or on Friday, and he said if he was still the commissioner of New York, he would have made a decision right there on the spot to make that a knockdown, and that way Rhodes could have won the fight. He says, I don't understand what Steve Willis was doing, because before this fight he was considered a decent referee, and now he's not talking to anybody, so nobody knows what he was thinking at the time.
Yeah. Randy Gordon, he said that if he was commissioner, he would overturn it. He would overturn it.
Exactly.
Randy Gordon's not the commissioner, son. That's old news.
Yeah, well,
we got a new sheriff in town.
Randy Gordon, man. Guy's in the Hall of Fame, man.
I didn't say nothing. I just said he wasn't the commissioner. That's all I said. I can't just say not on some facts like he's not the commissioner anymore.
Why are they going to diminish this guy when he accomplished
it? Are you cold-blooded, man? Go ahead, Robert. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
I'm sorry Beav interrupted you.
Go ahead, Bobby.
That's okay. And by the way, the Nick Ball fights will be on DAZN because that's a Queensberry card, and so that'll be on DAZN. So, I'm looking forward to watching him fight. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch. So, but this week is not too good for fights.
All right. So Raphael just said in the chat. That he thinks Steve Willis is still a good ref. He thinks that Steve Willis is a good ref. Robert, is Steve Willis a good ref?
Well, he was until Saturday night. He's got to explain what he was doing.
Only as good as your last fight.
That's it. I agree.
Only as good as your last fight.
That was a bad miss too. That was a bad one. That wasn't.
Yeah.
What's the old saying? What's the old saying? It takes a lifetime to build a reputation, but a minute to destroy it.
Yep.
Right.
100%. Look at Robert.
Robbie knows about that.
Everybody is comparing this to Richard Steele and stopping the fight with 2 seconds to go.
It's not the same
that
thing.
was just. That was a just stoppage.
It's not the same thing.
Completely just stoppage. Yeah. Melchick Taylor could not answer the ref. That's why he stopped it. Doesn't matter how much time is left. If you can't answer the ref, that's the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Eric. But everybody's
as much as I want to disagree, I can't on that one.
Everybody's now comparing Steve Willis to Richard Steele.
He'll never be Richard Steele. He'll never
not the same thing, Robert. Please, Robert.
He's no Richard Steele.
Robert, please.
Completely unbiased, Eric.
But guys, he's got to come out and say something. Now I don't know if the New York State Athletic Commission.
What difference does it make?
Hang on, I'm gonna grab this point right here. Hold on, I'm gonna grab this point right here by Gavin's Ghost. It's perfect. The fact is, he's right. The fact is, he started counting.
Counted to 3.
That's the fact.
Yeah, exactly.
And he sent Lamont Roach to a neutral corner and counted to 3, and then he stopped.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
That's the fact that he started counting. Raphael said Steele should have never stopped that fight. It was the rule. You can't answer. What is he going to do? What is he going to do? The guy's looking the other way.
Problem was,
And I don't know why he was looking the other way, but the fact is he was looking the other way.
No, you know what happened? Lou Duva jumped up on the ring apron. And
That's what happened, right? Lou Duva came up on the apron. And for that, he could have been disqualified for that anyway. That could have been a disqualification anyway. So he didn't do his guy any favors. Not to mention, he told Meldrick Taylor, the fight is hanging on this round. That's what he told him, to go out there and fight. All Meldrick Taylor had to do, by all accounts in the scorecards, all he had to do was gazelle it around the ring. All he had to do was turn it into a track meet. That fight is over.
Lou Duva made 2 mistakes that night. Told him to go out there and get him, and then he jumped up on the ring apron and distracted him. Cost him that fight, Lou Duva.
Well, listen, I wouldn't, Lou Duva, is not here no more. So he's no longer with us.
He can rest in peace.
I don't see the need to, not according to you. I'm just saying, I didn't see the need to trample over his grave. I'm just telling you some facts over here. You're the one that took it to another level. I don't appreciate it.
I have to report things accurately. You know me. I'm a true.
Go ahead, Robert.
And remember in the ninth round, after the whole knockdown fiasco, Davis went over to his corner and got himself worked on. They should have been disqualified for that. So the referee screwed up on him.
Raphael keeps putting BS. He must have had money on that fight. That was one he didn't get. He was probably going to win a big bunch of money on that fight. He probably bet his bookie and lost it.
Yeah.
Robert, what do you think about the Nick Ball fight?
I like Nick Ball. I think he's going to win. And everybody's talking about Inoue moving up to featherweight. The perfect guy for him to fight, if he does that, would be Nick Ball.
I love Nick Ball too, Robbie. I'm a big Nick Ball fan.
You're a big fan of Nick Ball's, right, babe?
I like him a lot. Yeah, he's a fun fighter to watch. I'm biased towards those inside. I love those inside fighters. I like inside fighters.
Yeah, like a Ricky Hatton and stuff like
All
right, Robert.
No,
All right, we're going to put you back on hold here. We'll let you listen to the rest of the show.
Take a walk.
What's wrong with you? 410 Baltimore, where I am king. You're live. Go.
Hi, Jerry.
Bird, the big bird.
Jerry, what's up?
What's up there, Dwayne? Hey, Dwayne, did I hear you say earlier in the show that you signed a deal to be part of this?
I did what?
That you signed a deal. A deal to be part of this show you have.
This show?
Yeah, we have a contract for him.
Yeah, I have a contract to be part of the show. That's correct. Yes.
Wow.
Is that okay? I mean,
that's comedy, bro. That's real comedy.
Well, I mean, I didn't think it was funny when I signed it. I was very happy with my contract.
It's a nice deal. It's a nice deal, babe.
No, I didn't laugh at it when I signed it.
I have creative control over my contract. That's really the only difference between mine and Beeb's.
I have no creative control over this show.
Correct.
All I can do is just.
And that's the way we like it. I got to be honest here.
Yeah, I can just only give my input on the fights. That's all I'm allowed to do here.
Taylor Chavez, I didn't think should have been stopped. Taylor got to his feet. He was looking right at Joe. He's not going to sing him happy birthday. He was in a compromised position. No question about that. People say it's not the ref's job to know what time it is, but it is. That's what that 10-second clapper is for.
No, they had the lights. They had the lights in that fight. They had the lights on the corner, so there's no way he didn't see it. They used to have the lights in the corner where the red light comes on when it's 10 seconds left, and sure enough, he's backed into a corner.
He saw it. Yeah, he did.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No way he didn't see it.
The 10-second click or light is to let the ref know. It's to let the ref know that the round's about to come to an end, be in position to stop the fight if necessary. I'm not going to argue about it because what's done is done. And everybody's got split opinions on it. But Richard Steele was a corrupt ref. Several things. He was on Don King's table.
Oh, that's terrible.
So that right there, Chavez had lost that fight, but he was the cash cow. And, what can you do? Anyway, another little cash cow, I guess, Tank Davis, in 45 years of watching boxing, I never seen occurred. Maybe it has, but I never seen a fighter take a knee and then not be a knockdown. I mean, that's a first for me.
I've never
First for
seen
me
that.
too.
Yeah, I've never
first for
seen
me.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he gets up and calls his own personal timeout, walks to the corner and gets his face wiped off.
And
I
the
mean,
dude was counting.
that-
He was counting. That's what kills us.
he just did whatever he wanted to do. And then, obviously, and then everyone's talked about it. The fight was scored a draw. Had that knockdown been scored, well, you don't have to be a mathematician to see that Roach would have got that victory and probably changed his whole life, because at this point, who even knows if Tank Davis is going to rematch him? Now, I'm a Tank Davis fan of his fighting. He's a real power puncher, that little bubble-headed freak. But I've also been a critic of his the last couple of years, like so many others, with just simply not fighting the top guys. He just simply avoids them. And I thought he lost to Pitbull Cruz also. I thought Pitbull Cruz chased him all around the ring and landed lots of head and body shots. And, a certain demographic will tell you, no, I think he boxed. He's a great boxer. And I'm like, yeah, no, he's not a great boxer. In fact, I mean, he doesn't get his ears boxed off entirely, but everybody outboxes him to one degree or another. He's a KO puncher.
Yeah, he loses rounds.
And in the history of boxing,
yeah, he does lose rounds.
yeah, in the history of boxing, with a few exceptions, typically the biggest punchers aren't the best boxers. They just never develop high-end boxing skills. And Davis is short. He's got relatively short arms. He's not built for boxing. He's a puncher. And if he doesn't get you, very likely he will lose or should deserve to lose like he did in this fight. And, I don't know. His immediate energy after the fight didn't sound like he even had a competitive spirit to get back on it. He was like, yeah.
Jerry, let me ask you a question, because you're in Baltimore, so you kind of got the boots on the ground over there, so you got a feel for the city and everything like that. When Tank fights in there in Baltimore, would a Tank and Lamont Roach, would it be better served in Baltimore as far as crowds, as far as everything else, rather than New York?
Well, Baltimore has a small arena down in the city. I'm not sure its seating capacity. He did fight there once. I think he fought Gamboa there. I can't remember. But he did fight there once, but has problems. Baltimore City, I don't know. It's a dangerous city. It's one of the most dangerous in the whole country. And you might get some people downtown that'll go, but a lot of people that live in the counties, like myself, we don't go downtown. I quit going downtown about 5 or 6 years ago. I just flat avoid the place.
Why you
Only the Raven.
You don't get a pass when you go down there, man? They don't know you?
I'm not going to.
You don't have a rep down there, man? You can't check in when you go down there?
In DC.
You can't check in when you go down there? Let them know who you are? I can go to the Four Corners region anytime, man. They know who I am.
You go to Southie, they know who you are.
They know who I am, man.
They don't know who I am.
Parts of this state, man. They know me.
Yeah. It doesn't matter down there. It doesn't matter who's it's just a dangerous place, man. And I think that the football and baseball stadiums are right off the highway. So when you get off 95, they're right there. There's a reason for that. They don't want, people don't want to go any further into the city. Even the tourist spots like the harbor and Fells Point, there's been lots of crime down there. So
shit on your hometown, man. What's going on here? You're not speaking very highly of your hometown, Jerry. What's going on? Well, aren't you proud of where you're from?
It's a tough. It definitely has tough areas, man. That's for sure. That is for sure.
I'm just telling you the truth, man.
Yeah.
I'm from the county. I grew up outside of the city, but mostly I grew up in the western counties outside of
a private school too when you were a kid.
Which Maryland gets a bad rap because Maryland's a beautiful state with mountains to the west and the beach to the east. It's just Baltimore. Baltimore brings the whole place down financially and everything. I mean, it's bad, worse than probably what you've heard. But to answer your question, I think he's better off probably fighting elsewhere. And while he's got
the DC Armory, though?
here,
what about the DC Armory? That's a good place to fight.
What about the Cap Center? Yeah. What about the Cap Center too? Yeah, the Cap Center in Landover, Maryland.
Yeah. I mean, but I don't know. I don't do the logistics for that crap. So they deemed it was, to put it where they put it. I think he's done well up there. I mean, let's face it, the guy does well on live gates, but I don't think he does too well on pay-per-views like his handlers try to front. They try to act like he's just breaking the bank. That Ryan fight, yeah, maybe that one. But the other ones, I mean, I don't see anything crazy there. But, a lot of people here in Baltimore also, and Maryland, who are Tank Davis fans, have been down on him now. You know what I mean? We're not just going to just keep rooting for a guy that consistently charges $80 a fight and consistently, I mean, if you think about all the talent that's in that division and has come through it, I mean, it's just ridiculous that this guy hasn't fought these guys. And you got him on video saying he's never asked to fight them. The press conference for this Roach fight, he said, I don't care about titles. Well, how convenient is that? The champions are the best fighters are usually the ones that have the titles, usually. And yeah, you don't care about the titles. Okay, I just want to get my money and get out. I mean, he's telling us what his deal is. And I sense a little complacency now that he's made some money. I don't know if he still has the passion to even do it at that level any longer. Listening to him talk, it doesn't sound like it. So,
well, he already had one foot out the door. Yeah, he already said he had one foot out the door. He was talking about retirement and everything like that. All right, Jerry, listen, we're going to get running, man. Thank you so much for the call. Giving us the details in Baltimore, man. Giving us the details in Baltimore. He is. I mean, I don't know that. And the other thing is too, like, I don't know that Baltimore is a big fight town either. Yeah. There a lot of amateurs come out of Baltimore and DC. A lot of amateurs come out of Cincinnati, but Cincinnati isn't really a fight town, to be honest with you. Back when Bronner was fighting here, and stuff like that, they'd have press conferences. Like, nobody would show up. Nobody, like, no local news was there ever. And even with the Cintas Center, that's the Xavier facility, University of Xavier facility here. I mean, maybe 5,000 seats out of, like, there's that arena holds like 16 to 20,000, I think, somewhere in there. And he sold 5,000 out. It's a hometown crowd. Yeah, it's not good, man. So what are you going to do? So did you hear this? Joe Rogan and Oscar De La Hoya are apparently, I guess, I don't know. Joe Rogan made a comment, and then Oscar De La Hoya takes him on that, the stupid thing. He's got that Clapback Thursday type of thing. You know what I mean? He's got that stupid Clapback Thursday, so he's clapping back at Joe Rogan, I guess. Apparently, De La Hoya is mad that Rogan won't have him on his podcast. De La Hoya wants to be on there so bad. He stated that Joe Rogan was being petty and wouldn't sit down with him, and that he would sit down with him and Dana White to do a 2-on-1 face-off. Rogan, the only thing Rogan said was Oscar's kind of going off the rails, and he talked about his fake abs and everything like that. He thinks that Oscar looks like the Liver King, like the Liver King's all like blown up phony, he's on all the stuff, but yeah, man, it's so he wants to get on there, and he wants to be on the Rogan podcast in the worst way. So,
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it was just one of those things that caught my eye.
Talk to him? Rogan just said he just doesn't want to talk to him?
I don't think, I mean, and Rogan listen, man, he could put anybody on there. He had the president on, so he can have anybody on there he wants. He wants, he's batting guests off with a stick right now, so.
Yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you want, man.
It's his podcast. Yeah, it's his podcast. He could do whatever, Yeah.
If someone doesn't want you on, like, why are you going to try to force your way onto something?
Right. Exactly. Well, let's talk about the big news this week, man. The big news this week. Turki Al-Sheikh and Dana White are creating a new boxing promotion. Turki Al-Sheikh and TKO have gotten together to create a new boxing league. This is what's weird. They're calling it a boxing league. From what I understand, the league will have a format of a tournament style, and it'll also do head-to-head fights. TKO owns the WWE and the UFC. Dana White from the UFC and Nick Khan from the WWE are part of the new promotion. There's no word on whether Top Rank, Golden Boy, or anybody else will be a part of this. So
I'm not sure if they are going to be a part of it.
Yeah, and like, while you may not be a part of it, just like but it is a promotion. So, will they? I mean, really, they've really had no problems getting like anybody to come with them, except for the PBC. the PBC is really the only one who hasn't really gotten on the Saudi bandwagon yet.
They've had a few fighters here and there on cards, but they've never really committed to like, a substantial amount of events like some of these other promoters have, like Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn and Oscar De La Hoya. So
yeah. And so, I'll be real interested to see. And also the tournament format. And we know that works. We all get excited for the tournaments. Remember when they had the Super Six and they had we just like the tournament format. So it would be nice to have I think they're doing really good stuff here. However, and this, there was an article on CBS Sports in February. Okay. And shout out to Paulie Malignaggi for talking about this and bringing it up, because I would have never known. There was an article on CBS Sports in February about boxing trends, etc. In the article, they talked about Turki Al-Sheikh and TKO. So this has been in the makings for a little bit here, at least, during a guest spot on ESPN's Pat McAfee show during the Super Bowl week, Ari Emanuel, who owns TKO, or WME, it's WME.
Oh, TKO, I think it is.
It's TKO.
Yeah, it's TKO.
Ari Emanuel controversially teased that UFC CEO Dana White, who would presumably lead TKO's partnership with Al-Sheikh, had visions of potentially repealing the Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act. TKO could realize this and, its desire to monopolize boxing, basically. Kind of like what the UFC has done with MMA and what WWE has kind of done with wrestling. They've kind of put a monopoly on this, man. And the fact that White is pretty close friends with Donald Trump, man, he could actually get this done. Any thoughts on that?
Here's the thing. It's the UFC had to pay out a lawsuit, antitrust lawsuit. They had to pay out a settlement. It's $375 million. And that was when they were owned by Zuffa, and that stemmed from, issues that were going on with fighters in 2014. And I guess these contracts were deemed unconscionable. They were predatorial, and there was a class action lawsuit that the fighters filed. I think it was 1,200 fighters. So the UFC settled and they paid them. But that was back in the Zuffa days. Now that you're involved with TKO, you're a publicly traded company now. TKO Holdings is worth almost $25 billion. UFC right now is worth about $12 billion. So I think moving forward, I don't think they're going to do anything unsavory where it's going to put themselves in legal issues, legal trouble, right?
Well, I don't know that repealing that act would put them in legal troubles.
Well, here's my argument, right? Even with that act in place, the act has no teeth. I mean, Al Heyman found a way to do a workaround on that, because you can't have a manager and a promoter operate. Have a manager and a promoter. You can't have like a manager be a promoter, and you can't have a promoter be a manager, right? It's conflict of interest. That's part of the act.
Right.
So all Al Heyman does is he calls himself an advisor, which is not a licensed position. A manager in boxing is a licensed position. A promoter is a licensed position. So Al Heyman acts as a manager because he advises fighters, and he also acts as a promoter because he's pretty much running the show, right? Runs these events, and he has these quasi promoters. So I guess the big thing with the whole UFC thing is UFC is technically like a promotional company, but they're kind of like a league too, right?
For sure.
They have their own belt. So another part of the Muhammad Ali Act is, if you are a promotional company and you give out a title, you cannot force a fighter to sign a long-term contract in order to fight for your title. And that's kind of what you do. Like in the UFC, you can't be in the PFL and fight for the UFC title. Like they don't do cross promotions. Like PFL's a league, UFC's a league. Just like the NBA. The NBA is the NBA champion.
And they don't do cross promotions. That's the big thing. Yeah.
So there's so many workarounds to the Muhammad Ali Act here, because you know what they could do? They could say, well, we're not a sanctioning body. We're not a promotional company. We're actually a league, right? So we're a league here. We're not, this is not like your standard boxing promoter dealing with a sanctioning body. We're creating a league. Like the NBA has a league, the NFL has a league.
Okay, so that's a very interesting point. Let me stop you here for a second, and let me piggyback off of this, and I'm going to ask you this. So, given the fact that they're a league now, but they're a promotion, they're a promotional company, they could start taking fighters now. Fighters can go and start signing with them. So, out of Top Rank, out of everything else, could this be? Are we looking at? Let me ask you this. PBC was very dominant years and years ago when they signed, Al Heyman signed 100 some odd fighters or whatever. Are we looking at the second coming of the PBC here?
Well,
or PBC 2.0, if you will.
Companies like the UFC and Amazon, they're not technically monopolies. They're what's called monopsonies. Monopsony is basically a company that has so much power. They're not technically a monopoly, but they have a strong hold on the market, right? Like Amazon has a stronghold in the market, but technically you can still order stuff on Walmart, whatever. But it's called a monopsony, right? So, I mean, there's so many workarounds to this Muhammad Ali Act. We've never actually seen it be enforced, right? And then another issue is the disclosure of the purses. UFC discloses the purses that they're paying to the fighters. They don't have a problem with that. Then there was issues in the past, I guess, with people not knowing what the pay-per-view numbers are and this and that. But here's the thing: the top fighters who get pay-per-view points, on their contracts, they know what the pay-per-view numbers are. So it's like, I just think all this outcry right now, like these people criticizing Dana White. Does boxing really have the moral high ground here, based off of its history?
For sure,
I would argue Al Heyman, and this is just my opinion, has done more in my lifetime to hurt this sport of boxing than Dana White has done in all his whole career. Like, people can criticize the UFC's pay practices, right? But that was under the Fertitta brothers, right? They have their own issues with union busting back in the day when they were running casinos. But this is a whole new situation here.
Yeah.
And plus, you're working with Turki Al-Sheikh. He's got money to burn over there because he's being funded by his government through the personal investment fund, which is closing in on being worth $1 trillion, right?
Yeah, so glad you brought that up. Dana White will have some difficulties to pay the top 1 and 2 millions for boxers. Listen, he's not paying them. He's not paying them. They're not coming out of his pocket. They're coming out of Turkey's. Yeah.
So again, so this whole thing, it's funny that Paulie Malignaggi wants to talk about the Muhammad Ali Act. Meanwhile, he was talking all this trash about Heyman back in the day, and then ultimately, if you can't beat him, you join him.
Yeah.
So Al Heyman, to me, here's the thing. If you look at it objectively, right? Dana White does put on if you're a consumer, Dana White you should love Dana White, right?
Yeah.
If you're a consumer, you should not like Al Heyman. So Al Heyman not only hurt the boxers, he actually hurt the consumer, because look what he's making. He's making people pay $80.
$80 to watch that Tank fight, by the way.
And then he signed 200 fighters to his stable.
Yeah.
And how many of these guys are actually fighting? Some guys haven't fought 2-3 years. So you work with PBC. You sign you sign on to Al Heyman as an advisor.
Yeah. And
this is another way Al Heyman beats you if you're a fighter. Since he's not a promoter and he's an advisor, he's basically, you're using him as an advisor. He's in an advisory role to you. When you work with him, he doesn't have to commit to giving you fights. So if you sign with a promoter, like a 3-fight, 4-fight, 5-fight deal, they have to provide you with fights.
Yes.
So he doesn't have, you sign with him, and basically it's a fight to fight. You have no security with him, right? And you're at his mercy, basically, right? So he could put you on the shelf for 2-3 years, like he's done with certain fighters. So he's not only, in my opinion, screwing fighters over, he's screwing over the consumer. At least Dana White, right, is actually, he's taking care of the consumer. And you can point to one fight here and there that maybe didn't happen that you wanted to happen, but for the most part, he does have the best fight the best. Yeah. And if UFC was so bad, then why do the best fighters in the world fight there? Again,
right.
It's up to the fighters. I put this on the fighters, and I'll tell you why. You have a union in all the major sports here, right?
You don't have one here. And you
in
don't have
America.
one in the UFC. Yeah.
And you know why you don't have you don't have a union in boxing, and you don't have a union in the UFC, and you don't have a union in WWE? You know why? Because the top fighters would never push for a union, because you know why?
Because they're making the money.
Because they're making the money. And
Right.
if you try to have like equal pay, or you try to have these mid card to lower card fighters get paid more, that's less money these top guys want to make. Remember, you remember the story with Jesse the Body Ventura and saying he wanted to push for a union, and Hogan's like, no, I'm not going for that.
I'm making too much money.
So you think if boxing wanted to propose a union, you think Canelo, you think Fury, you think Crawford, you think Anthony Joshua? So again,
and again, a union for what? They're not. It's not. It's not together. It's not a team.
Yeah, it's not a team.
It's broken factions.
I'm a union guy, man. I'm just a guy with a local 22 jacket, man. I'm trying to make a living. I got my union card here, man. I mean, this is me. I'm a union guy, but if you want a union job, then you go get a union job. I mean, but if you're going to choose, when I was in the private sector, I had to deal with what my boss told me. Like I'm lucky to be in a union now. So if you don't, again, no one's forcing you to be in the UFC. No one's forcing you to be in boxing. Now, would I love for everyone to get treated, make the most money they could make? Yeah, but you're never going to have that, because the top guys are always going to command the bulk of the revenue, and the guys beneath them are always going to, pick up the scraps. And it's funny when you listen to these people talk about boxing and this and that, and I hear Luke Thomas talking about the Muhammad Ali Act. Name one time the Muhammad Ali Act ever did something for a fighter. Name one time it was ever used.
In the comments, somebody had referenced Chris Algieri. Omar Rodriguez, said that Chris Algieri referenced the Ali Act and said that he won litigation with his former promoters with the Ali Act. And I will tell you, if you look at the Ali Act, it does a lot of good things, but none of it, I think, going back to your point, a lot of it doesn't have that teeth. It stops a lot of the Don King stuff where he was charging you for water, locker fees, and all that stuff. It'll stop a lot of that stuff, but it doesn't have a lot of teeth in it. I hope they don't repeal it. I don't know why they would repeal it if they were just a promotion, but they're actually looking to be a fight league, so they can't fight out of that promotion. So how that's going to go, man, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Chris Algieri, they say, used it in order to get financial information from his promoter, but he never sued it. So in other words, when they sued Al Heyman for a violation of the Ali Act, because Al Heyman is an advisor, but he paid Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. a check, and it said purse on it. So if you're an advisor, you're not supposed to pay the fighter a purse. That's the promoter's job. Right. But the reason why he got around it, because I don't have a promoter's license, I don't have a manager's license, I'm an advisor. So again, the UF, whatever they do here, they can turn around and say, we're not a promotional company, we're a league, we're like the NFL. So there's so many workarounds here, right? So Chris Algieri may have threatened his promoter, like, okay, if you don't give me this information, I'm going to file suit on grounds of the Muhammad Ali Act. But no one's ever, they tried to sue Al Heyman with this Muhammad Ali Act, Top Rank and Golden Boy, and they lost, right? So again, I just don't think this thing has any teeth. Maybe he said they want to repeal it, maybe whatever. But here's the thing. They don't have to repeal it, because Al Heyman already laid the blueprint on how to beat it. All you got to do is just say that that's why they're calling it. You notice how they're calling it a league. They're specifically saying this is a league. Mm-hmm. So that's how they're going to get around it. So do they really need? Because Maestro and I during our dust up yesterday, we actually pulled up. We pulled up the Muhammad Ali Act and we went down it, and it says a promoter cannot offer a title to a fighter and make him sign a long-term contract in order to fight for that title. So all they have to do is say, we're not a promotional company, we're a league. These guys are signing up to participate in our league. And then they can work around it.
Well, I tell you what, I didn't hear the show yesterday, but now I'm going to go back and listen to it, because I heard
there was 3 of them.
I heard you got smashed in those shows. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true. I can't imagine. You're my boy. You know, I can't
Number one in
imagine
the
you
chat
being
if
on the
I
canvas.
won. Number one in the chat if I won.
Just saying. This
Number
is what
two
I
in the chat if
heard.
Maestro won.
What I
Anyone who
heard.
watched it.
It's what I heard. I'm just saying.
Number one for Beeb, number two for Maestro. Let's put them up there.
It's like a like and the heart, you know.
Number one, there's a one for the
Maestro,
Beeb. Yeah. Woo!
Maestro.
Another one for the Beeb. Look at this.
Wow, they even think Maestro won. That's crazy.
I'm
man. You
number
said one
Maestro's
for Maestro.
number two.
You said you were two.
Team Beeb, here's another one.
All right, that's one for you.
No, there's three right there. Number one.
Three. Two.
No,
there's
only
another
one,
two.
No, only 1, 2 for him.
Raphael says Maestro was on point. There's a bunch of twos in the chat. Oh, that's cool. Even Fight Doctor said two.
He's saying I won. He's saying I won.
Well, you got to round it up. That's a two. One and a half. You got to round that up.
No.
Listen. Lisa knows math. I know. I'm telling you. She told me that. Wow.
Maestro got cooked. Listen,
Beeb
Maestro got cooked. Maestro got cooked.
Wow. Yes, I got to go back and check these out, man, because I had never seen Beeb.
Because Maestro, you know what Maestro kept doing, and I love Maestro to death, man. I take a bullet for him. I'd probably take a bullet for you too. But here's the thing. He kept referencing, right, that lawsuit. And again, like they settled it out and they paid it. Like I understand that you're concerned about fighters' pay and this and that. And I am too, but they're not a union. If you're not a union, you're not protected.
Not much. Yeah, you're right.
Like these other, like if these fighters really wanted protection, they would need help from the bigger names, and the bigger names would have to try to get them to organize. But the fighters will never organize. The fighters will never organize. You know why? Because they don't want to give up any of their money to the lower card, mid card fighters. 100%. They're not going to do it.
100% right.
So again, the big time fighters are never going to want a union. They could organize. Wow, another one for the Beeb. I'm killing it.
Another two in the chat. This is crazy. MAW, thank you so much, my friend. Turkey established him, and he is now poaching the best accomplished boxers to spearhead this new TKO boxing to give it relevance. The four majors will not be present in 175 trilogy or Canelo versus Skull. I'm okay with it. We've had multiple promoters. With Turkey here, we're getting fights we want. So you know what? Keep doing what he's doing. That's my view
too, Eric. All the PBC fanboys were sitting there talking, criticizing Turkey, right? That pay-per-view did 25,000 pay. Bro, who cares?
Who cares?
Let me ask you a question, Eric. When you go into a store and you want to buy an iPhone, right? You want to buy an iPhone because you like the phone, you think it's a reliable phone, you enjoy using the phone.
Yeah.
Do you go to the clerk at the desk and say, "Hey, man, or hey, ma'am, how many of these iPhones did you sell today?"
Yeah.
Because if you didn't sell 100,000 of these iPhones over the course of the year, I'm not going to buy it. Like who goes into stuff like I want to thank Beeb Senior, may he rest in peace up there. That I'm not like these middle-aged cucks on social media that worship these fighters and live vicariously through them. Middle-aged men. Thank you, Beeb Senior, for giving me the genes and the strength to not be a loser like these guys on the internet. Oh, look how many pay-per-views Tank this. Oh, look how many tickets. Like, why does that matter to you guys? It is the goofiest thing I've ever heard. Go to a restaurant.
Like Al Heyman busts out his wallet and gives him a check for it or something like that. You know?
Like imagine going to a restaurant that you love, right? You hear about this restaurant. Maybe it's like nobody knows about it, but someone tells you the food is great there. You walk into the restaurant. Hey, how many people did you serve today?
Right.
You know, like all you should care about is the product.
Yeah.
And if you enjoy the product, who gives a fuck how many pay-per-view buys it does? You're not gonna. No logical human being can tell me that Tank card could hold a candle to that Bivol Better Beef card.
I thought it was a better card.
So you idiots are complaining about paying $25 for a card, and you'd rather pay the $80 just so you could support your fanboy. Tank. Doing chin-ups on this guy's nutsack.
Oh, Tank.
Like Ellie Ballbag.
Tank. How come we can't see you on pay-per-view, Tank? Tank, I want to pay to watch you fight,
Goofy,
Tank.
it's the most ridiculous,
Tank.
goofy thing. I bet these guys are cocks. They're cocks.
That's not nice. That's uncalled.
It's horrible, but I gotta
you don't
just
have
say
to
the
say
truth.
it. You don't have to say it.
I can't say it.
No. You
One
don't
more
have
time,
to. You don't have to
please.
blow out somebody's candle to make yours burn brighter. Okay. There we go. All right. Let's move on. Did you? He left you speechless. There you go. Turkey Al-Sheikh. Where's David Benavidez in all this?
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I didn't like that either. I didn't like that either. Because now B-Ball, now he's out of the B-Ball sweepstakes now or whatever.
I don't like that.
He just, what is that? Now, where does he go?
So let me ask you this. So now Beeble beats Better Beef in the third fight. Are they going unless that Turkey Al-Sheikh doesn't like how Benavidez and his team's been moving.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he hasn't. So in other words, maybe they offered David Benavidez other fights to be on Riyadh season, and maybe he turned them down. So that like maybe Turkey Al-Sheikh is saying, well, why am I going to do this guy any favors? He won't come on my cards. I'm just speculating. I don't know.
Speculating now. You have no idea what went on there.
I don't know, but I'm just speculating.
Idea. And you just taking Turkey's side. Look at you. You just created.
I'm Team Turkey.
Based on your own
Team
nonsense.
Dana. I'm
Team Dana. Son, I got my picture with Dana.
I'm Team Dana, and I'm Team Turkey.
No, you can't be Team Dana. I'm Team Dana. You can't be on the same team. What's the matter with you?
I'm Team Turkey then.
I want to be on Team Turkey, though. I like Team Turkey, too.
You can be on Team Turkey. I'm not like you. I'll let you be on.
I'm not like you.
I'm not selfish.
Well, I'm glad one of us is. There we go. All right. Taylor versus Serrano 3 is set. Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor number 3 is set. Weren't the first two unanimous decisions?
Yeah, I mean, she beat her.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, she beat her twice.
And it's
a third.
Yeah, it'll take place on what was it? What you call it? It's an all who cares where it is or who cares when it is? Because I'm probably not going to watch it. It's an all-female card, Beeb.
Is it an all-female card?
Yes,
it is. Because I was listening to an interview with Eddie Hearn, and he was telling me that Katie Taylor's not crazy about these all-female cards. She thinks it's kind of like a gimmick.
You know why? Because she's not going to get paid. That's why. She's not going to get paid like she would have gotten paid if it was, if she was on another card.
Yeah.
Did you hear? Okay, so Ebony Bridges, also, I just found this out. Ebony Bridges just had a baby, and Kell Brook, her and Kell Brook. I don't know. I guess they're married. I don't know. Her and Kell Brook had a baby.
Kell Brook's old girlfriend was beautiful, man. I don't know what happened to her, man, but I want to be careful here, but I liked his old girlfriend a little better than Ebony Bridges, if I'm being honest.
Well, she's single now, I guess, because he's with Ebony Bridges now. So, hey, it's
not that I have a shot at her, but I'm just saying. I like her.
You're an oyster here, man. Oh, come on. You're the Beeb. What do you mean you don't have a shot at her? Come on.
I'm just a guy with a local 22 jacket trying to make a living.
You're the Beeb. She likes the hardworking guy. Come on. Come on. If you're going to lie to me, tell me something. You got a shot with her. Come on.
Yeah.
What's the matter with you? Of course you do. All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on X at jhabib1. Find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporter.com, and you can find me on X at ringside73. And guys, we will see you next week.